at its core, kids shouldn't have to worry about what happens if a shooter comes to their school.
My generation, which is Gen Z, we've grown up under the threat of gun violence in schools for as long as I can remember. I mean, my friends and I have had to do active shooter drills every year since kindergarten. What definitive actions would you take to curb gun violence in our country?
I have a record of supporting, leading, and voting on legislation, much of which has passed in the House, hasn't moved in the Senate, but will ideally carry on into the future. And importantly, I voted on the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, which was signed into law. It's a step forward to ensuring that we are moving in the direction of preventing gun violence, but it's certainly just a step.
Switching over to a crucial issue in our country right now that you previously mentioned, reproductive freedom. Abortion is currently legal in Virginia. However, during Glenn Youngkin's term, he has proposed codifying an abortion ban after the 15th week of pregnancy. In November, voters in 10 states will decide on constitutional amendments guaranteeing abortion access. So my question for you is, will you propose and support a similar ballot initiative in Virginia?
In any case, legislation protecting the rights of individuals to make their own healthcare choices is something that, as legislation would come to my desk, it's legislation that I would sign.
And why is it important for constituents in Virginia to have abortion rights? I mean, what exactly is at stake here?
So many people have challenges to a pregnancy, have a non-viable pregnancy, have a miscarriage. And they need medical care. And that medical care is abortion care. And so the idea that a woman needs to nearly bleed to death in the hospital parking lot before a DNC will be provided is outrageous.
Your daughter could be the one too terrified to call the doctor if she's bleeding during an unexpected pregnancy. Your niece could be the one miscarrying in her bathtub after the hospital turned her away. Do not put our lives in the hands of politicians who have no clue or do not care about what we as women are going through.
What would you say to young voters to encourage them to show up to the polls this November for the presidential election? Perhaps voters and constituents that might attend the University of Virginia.
The ability to vote is such a sacred right. It's a civic duty and responsibility. Even if you think your candidate is going to win, make sure they have a slightly larger mandate. I know, particularly for people on grounds at this moment, the entirety of your political experience has been one where politics is just really chaotic. It hasn't always been this way, and it doesn't need to continue this way.
For my last question, I just have one more. Since you're a UVA alumni, I just wanted to know, what is your Bodo's order?
I'm of the generation that waited forever for the corner Bodos to exist. For years and years and years, it was coming soon. And now anytime I go back to Charlottesville, the joy in my heart seeing that Bodo's on the corner is immense and expansive. I mean, I like a bagel with lox. That's an easy one. I'll give my husband's Bodo order because I think it's weirder. It's a blueberry bagel with bacon, egg, and cheese, which sounds maybe gross, but it's actually delicious.
Well, I'll have to try that to see for myself. Thank you so much for your time. This was a lovely interview, and I really appreciate you coming here.
Thank you so much, Leilani. I appreciate it.